So we're talking about chicks and pasty butts and some of the things we do to help fix that. Alright, so what we've got here is chicks that are, they are 2 days old now. Sorry, there we go. Chicks that are 2 days old. And even on the first day, they must have been feeding them, which is unusual. They were fed them before we even picked them up on their first day of life. And some of them had big clumps of poop on their bottoms. Those are the ones that I took off on the first day. That's pretty unusual. Okay, so I've been, and it's called pasty butt. And you have to wash this poop off or it can clog them up and they can't go poo and they'll die. So I just have one more left I need to do today. I only have to do 2 today. The first day out of 10, I had to do like 5. Second day I had to do, how many? Probably 4. And today I just have to do 2. So we'll see how it goes. And then so I'm going to hopefully set this up and show you how I do it. Here's a little baby chick with a little bit of a pasty butt. It's not real bad like the ones that I showed at the beginning of the video, but it is the start of one, so I'm just going to take care of it before it gets bad. Now, he's small enough that I just have a container of water here, and I'm going to dip his butt in just to loosen it up. And it's warm water, because chicks like to be warm. Just loosen that up, and then I got a paper towel. I'm going to try and gently wipe that off. You don't want to pull it off because it can actually rip off the feathers, and if it's stuck to the inside of the vent, it can actually pull out their intestines and kill them. So you want to be really careful with this. I think that's good. Just dry him off, and if he's clean, he can go back in. And hopefully that will be the end of the pasty butts. So some of my footage from the other day got lost, so I'm going to redo it. So we're talking about chicks and pasty butts and some of the things we do to help fix that. So first of all, here's our water dish. I like to have it up on blocks so that the droppings and everything doesn't get into the water. Because if it soaks up all the water, then they've got nothing left to drink. And they do have lots of food. Most of it is scratched out on the ground, but they can just continue to eat that. Because, you know, birds really don't care about where their food is at. Now for the pasty butt, I like to put in, this is apple cider vinegar. I put in about a capful per liter of water. I also put in, for their vitamins, a drop per liter of this stuff. This is flavored liquid vitamin mineral supplement for poultry. So just a drop of that and a capful of that in a liter of water. And this thing is about a liter worth. We also put up a little bit of shade for them in case it gets too hot under the heat lamp. Now, there are specific temperatures that your chicks and other poultry are supposed to be at. And it's generally you want it to be warmer the younger they are, and then each week you can raise the lamp or make it a little bit cooler. They don't, because their feathers are growing in, they have larger heat mass or mass on themselves, they can hold their heat better. But instead of, putting in a temperature gauge and figuring that out, an easy way is just to look at their behavior. So if they are all clustered under the lamp, huddling together, that means they're cold and we need to lower the heat lamp. If they're off in the corners, under shade, panting, trying to get away from the heat, that means it's too hot and you need to raise your heat lamp. We don't have to have all the fancy tools nowadays that we could have by using thermometers and everything. If you don't have that, just watch their behavior and you'll figure it out. They're just kind of hiding because I'm talking and yakking at them. Now, their pasty butts all seem to be doing okay. You'll notice that when I did the one from the other day, it did have a bunch of its feathers off his butt, and they'll grow back, that's fine. As long as it didn't pull the vent out and his intestines out, he'll be just fine. Now you'll notice, I wanted to show you this, from the big poops that came off from the first day, you'll notice that that one did have some feathers on it, and that's somewhat inevitable. You just can't get around that sometimes, because I soaked their butts in the water to get these off, and it still pulled off some of the feathers. That's just, as long as it doesn't pull out their intestines, they're fine. All right, see, they're active and happy. And one more thing to add about the box that the chicks were in, you'll notice that it had rounded corners. And that was to keep the chicks from getting stuck in a corner and getting too hot or too cold and not making it. That's a trick from my husband's grandfather from way many years ago. That's how they did it. Always try and have curved corners, well, curved edges, instead of a sharp corner that a chick can get stuck in. Now I was just going to take you over here to show you the adults of the same breed of chickens that we have over there. So those baby chicks that we got are a hybridized egg-laying breed. So these ones are called Miller Brown, but there's all sorts of different names for them because each hatchery has their own mixture that they put in, but they're all egg-laying hybrids that produce a lot of eggs. So I'll switch this around now. So these are the Miller Browns, and they're a hybridized egg-laying variety, and that's just what our hatchery calls it because it's Miller Hatcheries. But each hatchery will have their own name for it, but it's basically the same thing. And now these, we have 15 hens, and they lay 14 to 15 eggs per day. So basically each hen is laying an egg a day, reliably, since the time they were 4 months, I think, maybe 4.5 months old. And yeah, they're doing great. And that's why we went with that breed again. Hi, did you know I wrote a cookbook? It's called Delicious, Cheap, Healthy, Whole Grains, Beans, and Lentils, Staples for Budget-Friendly Meals. In it, you'll find recipes for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, snacks, and staples, all the good stuff. And it's available on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Okay, back to the video. Now, we went with that breed because the first couple of years we had them, we had Buff Orpington. And they're a dual-purpose heritage breed. And that's fine, but we found that we didn't really like them for meat, and they were so-so for eggs. You know, they would one egg every second day or so. Or, yeah, it was just, it wasn't great for either application that we wanted, so we decided to go with an egg-laying hybrid, and it has been great. The other thing to know is that I don't have them do the beak, they kind of shave off the tips of their beaks. I don't have them do that because we don't have enough chickens to make it worthwhile. If they were all packed in a lot in a coop, then yes, I could see that, but ours have enough space and enough area to roam that it's not an issue. I also don't get them vaccinated for anything. I just feel like birds in the wild and birds in captivity will be healthier and stronger if we don't give them all these things that, first of all, in many ways can weaken their immune system, but also if one dies, we take it out quickly, and we haven't had any, the rest are stronger because of it. If we always at the sign of first infection kill off everything, nobody's going to be able to build their immunity. So that's what we do. Hope that helps someone figure out what they're doing with their chicks and what those things coming out their butts are and all that stuff. If you like this content, please like, comment, subscribe, share it, help a girl out. Thanks. Bye.